So let's broach this from a couple of different perspectives. First of all, the consumer perspective.
Yes.
What impact has the millennial had on agriculture from the consumer perspective?
So the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask that question is I remember sitting in a common space area my freshman year at Virginia Tech, and the common book that year was Animal Vegetable Miracle. And it talked about locally sourcing food, and this family who actually, I believe, resided in Southwest Virginia, only got their food, source their food from within, I think, maybe 100 miles or something. So I remember sitting in my room and overhearing one of my peers out in the common space say, "You guys, after I read this common book, we can't eat the potatoes at D2." And I said, "What in the world?" So I go out and I listened in on the conversation. She said the potatoes are from Idaho, and the book said you can only get food from within 100 miles. She said this while holding a Starbucks cup, and I'm not really sure if cocoa beans and sugar are sourced within 100 miles of Blacksburg. But with that being said, I believe millennials, especially now that we're getting into the consumer world, we're making purchasing decisions in the grocery store, we're finding and sourcing our own information. I think consumers, especially in the millennial age, are most interested in getting their information firsthand. And whereas I think other generations have referred to the news or did their own research, a lot of times millennials are getting peer recommendations. You see all the time on Facebook, those asks.
It is truly a different age, because when I was your age, it was all about TV dinners and convenience and microwave ovens and whoever read a label on a food product.
Exactly.
Who cared where it came from? But now people really want to know not only where it came from, but they want to know exactly how it was produced.
Yes.
Why?
I think a lot of it comes from especially the idea of environmental impact. A lot of millennials are more aware about their place in society and maybe how they influence the people around them, the world around them. So I think that, and this is my perspective, that a lot of consumer millennials are out there wondering, okay, I want to know exactly who's producing my food. I want to make sure I'm supporting somebody locally, my money's being used the right way, and also to make sure that they can be guilt-free when they go to eat.
Guilt-free, that's interesting. They want to have a conscience. They have a conscience. I see that's totally alien to my generation. You went through the drive-through and you could care less as long as it was under $1, you bought it.
Exactly.
Well, that's very interesting. Of course, we have seen a lot of trends with this buy local, the farm to table movement.
Yes.
I haven't been inside a university cafeteria in a long, long time, but I suspect it looks dramatically different from when I was in college.
Oh yes. Again, that year, it became a big push to want to have this locally sourced food. And I believe now Virginia Tech is utilizing a lot of their own livestock, beef products, some of the on-farm or on-university raised products in the cafeterias now.
Yeah. Well, it's all about change and people accepting change. You know, there's an old pearl of wisdom that says the only change that most people like comes from a vending machine.
This is true.
But change is going to be constant. There is going to be change. Now let's talk about the changes that we could see in production agriculture with millennials. How many people, and tell me about some of your friends who are interested in being an agricultural producer.
I think that the face of the agriculture producer will change in the way that they manage their time, money, and resources. I believe millennials that are my age are more interested in researching, again, kind of that same aspect where consumers are researching more where their food comes from. Millennials my age are thinking, okay, how can I be the most efficient? Maybe it's apps on their phone for better record keeping. Maybe it's attending a lot of the seminars that Extension or Farm Credit are hosting so that they can get a better idea. But I think millennials are a learning generation, and they're going to be constantly trying to stay ahead of the curve to make sure that they're up to date with the highest technology that they can utilize.
We're talking with Morgan Slave. And Morgan, what can we, people in my generation, and again, I am the age of the average Virginia farmer, 58 years old. What can we do to ensure the success that agriculture continues and that those producers are successful?
I think the greatest bit of advice I can give on this is to give us a shot. I read an article one time that questioned the commitment of young people to agriculture, and I don't think that that our more mature generation should discount new ideas just because they're different from maybe how they have done them in the past. And there's a huge, we're being compared to the baby boomers as far as causing change within society and culture. And so I would say give us a shot, because we're looking at the highest interest rates, we're looking at the highest tuition, we're still going to school to become involved in production agriculture, and we're coming out with less access to capital, less access to land, and it's a new time, but give us a shot, we'll make it happen.
Well, there certainly is a lot of creativity out there. And matter of fact, I've seen young farmers here in Virginia who don't even have land. They are growing, for instance, salad greens in an old abandoned warehouse.
Yes.
And it works.
Yeah.
It works. And they're making a profit. So, my generation would say, well, are they really farmers?
Yeah.
You don't have to ride a tractor to be a farmer.
Exactly. It's not plows, cows, and sows anymore.
Well, again, this is a very interesting topic, I know, to a lot of our viewers, because I think I'm sure that all of our viewers, we want to encourage the next generation.
Yes.
We want to make sure that Virginia agriculture continues in the future, and we want to make sure that we're not ever at a point where we're importing most of our food supply. Exactly. I think most of our viewers would agree with me, and I hope you would agree with me, that we want our food to be locally sourced if possible, but certainly within the United States of America and grown by American farmers.
Exactly.
Obviously, we do have to import some things, but not everything.